It has been a whole year since the last time we did one of these, and I am super excited to finally talk about the top 10 movies of 2024. Now, before we head into that, we'll set a few ground rules just like we did last time. Number one, as the cinema regulars, we are sadly limited to only new movies released in theaters. So, movies coming back for a anniversary showing obviously don't count. We don't even cover those on the channel anymore. Any movies released on streaming services sadly also do not count because there were some bangers, but we had to have seen them in the theaters for a theatrical release this year. Uh, Number two, obviously, this is only limited to films we actually saw, so movies like this, and this that we clearly wouldn't even want to go to and wouldn't enjoy, even ironically, we didn't bother to go see. So anything that we didn't see in theaters obviously isn't going to make the list. And number three, this is the last year, I promise, and stick with us because and thankfully it's only applying to one movie on our list this year. But films released at the tail end of 2023, but we didn't get to see them until January of 2024, will also be in the running. But as I said, thankfully, there's only one on the list, and this is the last year we're doing that because we made sure everything is squared away beforehand. So, without further ado, let us get into our best movies of the year. Kicking us off at number 10, we have The Wild Robot. Starting off with a beautiful masterpiece here, The Wild Robot is a heartfelt movie about motherhood and especially adopted motherhood. It is a perfect family movie to watch for Mother's Day. The comedy is snappy and sometimes edges on the darker or more edgy, mature side of comedy, which we haven't really seen since Shrek. With Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, this paintbrushed art style is quickly becoming a symbol of DreamWorks excellence, and I am absolutely here for anything that they make in this art style moving forward. Coming in at number 9, we have Strange Darling, a beautifully shot story about a one-night stand gone wrong. Strange Darling is unlike anything I've ever seen before. Kyle Gallner rightfully getting a leading role for once, alongside Willa Fitzgerald, and even the momentary side characters are expertly crafted. This movie makes use of the chapter system where a lot of movies horribly flop at it. Furiosa had a chapter system and it didn't need it. I don't get it. Everything Everywhere All at Once had a chapter system and didn't need it. Absolutely no effect. But this time it provides a necessary structure. Everything behind the scenes just adds more to how impressive this masterpiece truly is, and I'm always surprised by everything I learn about this movie. It's absolutely great. Moving on to number 8, we have Boy Kills World. Now, this was a surprise out of nowhere. My brother and I got to see it as a mystery movie, and we didn't even know that it was showing this early. Bill Skarsgård absolutely nails it as the comedy action, blending it together perfectly. Not even having to say a single word in the whole movie, and he absolutely nails it. The fight scenes are spectacular, the comedy is actually funny, and it is a really cool world building that they did as well. It was a very strange and interesting society that they had built up here, and it is a great movie all around, and is a epically fun time. Alright, number 7. I'm gonna catch a lot of flack on this one again. In a Violent Nature. Now, I have described this movie as the Skinamarink of slashers because it's going to have the same effect. Either you get it and you love it, or you don't get it and you hate it. Because it is a very, very, very slow burn. It is a very, very silent movie. Much like Skinamarink, it's very quiet for a lot of it. It is following directly behind the slasher as he's going on a killing spree of all these teenagers. And all the practical effects, while looking cheap at some times, most times if I'm being real, they offer a sense of realism to the kills. Once you accept that the this is what the gore looks like, it becomes much easier to imagine those things actually happening to someone, which deepens the terror and dread that this movie already has going for it. In number six, we have Snack Shack, a movie I could relate to very heavily, having a similar kind of friendship between me and Isaac. This kind of chaotic buddy duo that we have. It is a fun summertime movie and it really, really knocks it home in the stylization. It feels like a '90s teenager's life, and I'm here for absolutely everything that this movie had to offer. The snack bar at the side of a pool setting is just a super fun and interesting place for the whole movie to take out. The dynamics between all the characters felt real and very like natural, and it is a great movie with a gut punching ending that I still haven't gotten over to this day. At number five, we have The Iron Claw. Now, this is the one exception from 2023 that we didn't see until 2024. But it is a doozy here. This is one of the most tragic films I have ever seen in my life. I don't think I've ever cried as much in the theater as I have when I've seen this, because not only is it such a moving tragedy film, but it's made even more tragic that the fact that it's a true story. Everything in the movie really happened to this family, and it just hurts you even more. And it's not even the whole story, because there's even another brother who died that got cut out of the film, either for brevity or because he was just so young at the time. But this movie really stuck with me, especially having two brothers of my own. The thought of anything like this happening to them, it really got to me. So much so that I even came home and hugged my brothers after the fact. And it was just really, really, really sad and really moving. And it might be quite a bit before I can bring myself to watch the movie again. Number four, we are looking at Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot. Much like Angel Studios' previous film, Sound of Freedom, this movie gets very dark very fast, showing real depictions of real-life child abuse and giving an eye-opening view to the abject horror some of these kids are put through. But then it warms your heart back up to see the whole town come together and every abused and abandoned child in 100-mile radius from the town has been adopted. He literally calls the agency at the end of the movie and they said, "You have adopted every child in 100 miles. There's none left. I'm sorry." And even better, you get to see the real life counterparts of these kids and their beautiful families that they have built at the end of the movie, and it is a truly inspiring and moving film to say the least. Number three, we have Unsung Hero. This is the ultimate feel-good movie for me, seeing the life and rise of Rebecca St. James and her brothers for King and Country. This film shows a faithful family moving from Australia to America and struggling to keep themselves afloat. The aspects of family, sacrifices, dream chasing, and a community brought together brings genuine tears to my eyes. It is a beautiful film. All right, number two, Kill. Taking a wild detour in tone here. This action movie out of India was a surprising delight for my birthday. This ain't your average Bollywood nonsense, mind you. This had roadside attractions behind it and serious, serious money. This is a juggernaut of unstoppable action. The stakes are genuinely investing as each character on the two sides of this close quarters massacre are important. The bad guys are all one big connective criminal family. So every single person that the good guy kills is a personal attack against the entire family. And everyone the bad guys kill is an innocent life that never needed to be taken in the first place. The kills in this bloody action thriller are some of the most brutal and most shocking deaths in action movies that rocked me in my seat. I am so glad I got this movie to myself with Isaac, because we were able to scream at all the gore as loud as we could and needed to. All right, time for our honorable mentions before we get into the number one spot. Now, how the honorable mentions work is that we give the first one to the 11th place, the runner-up, and the second one we get a hand-picked selection as from something further down the list, but something we just wanted to glaze up anyways. Our first honorable mention, we have Nosferatu. As the runner-up in 11th place, Nosferatu was an excellent showcase of acting ability, makeup and costume design, and accurate historical appearance. Bill Skarsgård totally dominates as Count Orlok, bringing a new breath of terror to the character in film. The only things holding this back is that it was accurate to a fault, as a lot of the scenes were lit only by candles, and didn't have any horror effect. Like, it was, oh, it's supposed to be dark because it's scary, and I can't see anything. And the only other thing is that it was a tad slower to start than a lot of other movies. Other than those things, this would have stolen a place at top 10, I think. Honorable mention number 2, we have Deer Camp 86. This is a random selection. I chose to talk about Deer Camp 86 because it's an absurdly funny horror comedy about a bunch of redneck boys shooting them there deer in them there woods. And it is a great film, if I do say so myself. A vengeful force of nature comes back to attack them. This small scale mid budget flick had some of the best comedic timing, some of the best comedic insults and jabs, and some of the best jokes that continuously just caught me off guard throughout the whole movie. It was an easy recommendation all day and every day. I am so proud to own this on DVD already. Ladies and germs, this is what you have been waiting for. The number one movie of 2024, and it is, of course, none other than Slingshot. This movie blows my mind continuously. The first time I saw it in theaters, I had to collapse to my knees, shaking my head as I processed what I had just seen. This is an amazing sci-fi thriller that is something that can be watched over and over and over again, and you can pick up something every single time and have something new to think about for hours. I can think about this movie as an activity. Like, I could just go somewhere and just think about Slingshot for 20 minutes. It's such an amazing film, and I cannot recommend it enough. All right, that will wrap up our 2024 top 10, at least from me. We still have my bottom 10 to cover, and we still have Isaac's top and bottom 10. So be sure to go check out those videos when you're done here. And until next time, guys, that's a wrap. Roll credits.